Hi Katie, my
Hi.
name is Julianne Shukri.
Nice
How are
to
you
meet you.
doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I see that you were referred here by your gastroenterologist for your recent diagnosis of Crohn's disease. And we talked last week on the phone and I got your 24-hour diet recall and a diet history. So I thought that we could go over a brief history of what Crohn's disease is, and then I can kind of counsel you on how you can control your symptoms and kind of start feeling better and getting your symptoms under control. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me any of them throughout this whole counseling session.
Alright, sounds good.
All right, so let's start with what you know about Crohn's disease. Just kind of give me an idea of what you know.
Okay, I know it can be triggered by carbs and that it has to do with the inflammation in your colon.
Yeah, pretty close. So not necessarily carbs, but fiber. So Crohn's disease is an inflammation of your colon, or it could be any place in your GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract. So that the GI can start in the mouth and goes all the way through you. So technically Crohn's disease could affect any part of that GI tract, but it's more common in your intestines and your colon, like you said. And the inflammation causes the food when it's digesting, trying to get through. It's harder for the food to get through. So that's what's causing the pain, the bloating, constipation, even the weight loss, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. And this disease is very unpredictable. So you may have one symptom one day and a completely different symptom another day, or you could even have your symptoms under control for like a week, and then all of a sudden you just have a random flare-up. And so it's just unpredictable, and that's where I want to try to help you kind of get an idea of what foods are triggering, and it's more of a trial and error. You know, you figure out, okay, this food makes me feel sick, so you want to avoid it, or this food makes me feel fine, so I'll, stick to that food. So this session we're going to focus on a low residue diet, so you can kind of get an idea of what foods you should be eating and what you shouldn't eat. So first, we're going to, let's see. I want you to, oh yes, here we go. So I have your 24-hour diet recall, and I was looking at it, and you do eat a lot of fiber. So as I mentioned, the low residue diet is low on, don't want to eat too much fiber. So do you know what fiber is?
Not really.
Okay, so that's fine. So basically fiber is, in lots of fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and your body doesn't digest it. It just goes through you, and that's kind of why it's why it's suggested to eat lots of fiber. So it will help you remain regular, basically. You won't be constipated. But in your case, because it doesn't get digested, it kind of gets caught in the inflamed intestines. So that's what's causing the pain, the discomfort, the bloating, the gas, and things like that. So in your case, you don't want to be eating too much fiber. So you want to try to avoid the raw fruits and vegetables, but you can eat cooked fruits and vegetables, because when you cook it, the cooking process breaks down the fiber, and it's a little bit easier to digest and get through your system. But you also want to avoid whole grains. So I have a little handout right here that you can see. It gives you a list of the recommended foods, and then over here on this page it gives you a list of the foods that you want to try to avoid. So just take a brief look and flip through them just to get an idea of what you can and can't eat. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
On the vegetables to avoid, it says raw ones and then there's other ones. Does that mean avoid those altogether, even if they're cooked?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like peas, because they're small and they're really starchy, you want to try to avoid foods like that.
Okay.
Good question. So, I have your 24-hour diet recall here. And so what I want you to do is circle 3 foods that you think are high in fiber, and then I want you to find foods on this list that you could replace them with, that you know that you would be an equal, that you could get an idea for that.
It's definitely the apple.
Definitely, yes, that's a good one.
Let's see. And the strawberries and carrots because it was all
Yes.
also raw.
Yep.
Okay.
And something else with the strawberries is they have the seeds on the outside,
Mhm.
so and that can cause problems with your inflamed colon as well. So now try and just choose foods that would be good to replace it with. So actually, this is the
that's the other.
void,
Okay.
yeah. So you want to check on that page.
So they can get replaced with cooked fruit
Mm-hmm.
or applesauce.
Yeah, that
So
would be a good
apple.
one.
Peaches.
Mm-hmm. Canned peaches. Yeah.
Canned peaches. Okay. Oh yeah. Carrots. I could cook those.
Yes, excellent.
Okay.
Yep. So if you cook them, that will break down the fiber and it'll be a little bit easier to digest. And like you said, the applesauce would be a great way to switch instead of having the raw apple.
Mhm.
So you seem to get an idea, have an idea of what to substitute. So now I want you to describe a specific meal that you could possibly create that's low residue. You could do breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but something that you could follow on a regular day.
Okay. Can I look at this?
Yep,
Okay.
definitely.
Yogurt that doesn't have fruit in it
Mm-hmm.
with white toast.
Yep.
And peanut butter.
Sure,
Smooth
yes.
peanut butter?
And something you want to be careful with the peanut butter is, yes, did you say smooth peanut butter? Yes, because you don't want the chunks in it, because that could,
It's not that big.
good observation. So is that something that you could eat on a regular basis? Like maybe not every day, but that's something that's feasible for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So with the yogurt, you would want to you could get like a coconut flavor or just vanilla, if that's something, that way you wouldn't get the fruit, because it has seeds in it and that could
Right.
cause pain and discomfort. And I wanted just to check with the 3 foods that you substituted. Are those foods that you could definitely have at home? Be
Yes.
feasible? Okay, good, excellent. So you seem to understand what to do with this low residue diet. So I just want to make sure that you understand why I'm recommending that you follow this low residue diet, and if you could just explain, kind of give me, like, talk back to me what I was telling you. If you have questions, that's totally fine, and I can answer them.
Okay, so I'm avoiding the trigger foods that are higher in fiber because I can't digest them, so they just go straight through me.
Yes, in a way. Sometimes it might go straight through you, or because your intestine is inflamed, so it's smaller.
Okay.
So the fiber foods aren't digested, so they're blocking up.
Okay.
So you could have possible diarrhea, which that could be a symptom, or it could be causing constipation and that, so it's causing the bloating and the gas and the discomfort. So like you said, you want to avoid the high fiber foods. But does that mean you can't eat any vegetables or any fruit?
No,
What can you eat?
they can be cooked.
Good. And canned, that's
And
another one.
canned.
And something about the meats, I just wanted to point out here is you can eat like the well-cooked meats and things, but on this page, you want to avoid like the tough, gristly type of meat that like a gristly steak or something like that, and things that are high in fat, because that could trigger some symptoms as well. So good. So you definitely want to stick with your cooked fruits and vegetables and your white breads and things. And I want to point your bran muffin. You can eat a muffin just more of like a regular plain corn muffin, something like that.
Okay.
I also have some handouts here, right here. This is another idea, more foods that you can eat on the low residue diet. So you've got the recommended and the avoid foods.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yes, so that could make it. And I think there's even one of these has a sample. Oh, these are more recommended foods, and then there's one of these has a sample menu that you could get an idea for. And then this is just more information on low fiber, and then for a fiber restricted diet. So you can hang on to those for future references, and if you have any questions, you can refer to those, and you can always look things up. So it looks like you have an idea of what you're supposed to be doing, and you definitely understand how to switch a high fiber food with a low fiber food. And I think you should probably schedule another appointment for about in a month. You can do that at the front desk.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, feel free to call me or email me, because you have my information from when you called me earlier, or I called you. And it was great talking to you, and I'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Thank you.